Could this be the best watch under $500? Stick around to find out. Hey guys, and welcome to the Watch Lobby. In today's video, we're taking a look at a watch by one of my favourite micro brands. It's the Obris Morgan Infinity. Obris Morgan have been making some really cool pieces aimed well and truly at the enthusiasts for several years now. All mostly released in smaller quantities, most of the time their pieces selling out on release. For those that have owned an Obris Morgan, you'll understand why. Obris Morgan just pack an insane amount of watch nerd specs into their pieces for what us watch nerds might call an affordable price point. Today, we're looking at the Obris Morgan Infinity. I picked this piece up on release in 2017, having woken up in the middle of the night just to make the pre-order purchase, and lucky I did because they had sold out within 30 minutes. This was incredibly priced at $379 US for the pre-order, then $439 following that. So what makes the Infinity so special? To start with, Obris Morgan decided to use an ETA 2824-2 Elabore in the Infinity. For those that are unaware, the ETA 2824 comes in 4 different grades. You've got the standard, elaborated, top, and chronometer grades. Using the Elabore, or also known as the elaborated grade, 2824 sets the Infinity apart from other micros. The elaborated grade allows the movement to be regulated in 3 positions, and it comes with an average accuracy rating of plus or minus 7 seconds. Obris Morgan take it one step further, supplying each piece with individual accuracy testing cards, this particular one coming in at plus 3 seconds a day. The ETA 2824 is also protected by shocks by utilizing Inca block shock absorbers. Just think of it as mini shock absorbers for your movement. The 2824 comes in with a 28,800 beats per hour beat rate with a roughly 38 hour power reserve. Just wait, we're just getting started. There's a lot more packed into this brilliant piece. The case and bracelet are made from 316L stainless steel, and a lot of it at that. Sized up for my wrist, this piece came in at a whopping 220 grams. But don't let that scare you. I often wear mine on a sailcloth strap seen here, which brings the watch in at 122 grams. As for the case measurements, using my own calipers, here is what I measured. Measured diagonally, it came in at 43mm. Measured horizontally to include the crown, it came in at 47.9mm. The lug to lug of 48.8mm, and a lug width of 22mm, with a thickness of 14.1mm. Now, you may be saying those measurements are on the larger side, and they are. However, the case packs a lot more than what meets the eye. We can attribute the thickness to the fact that under the case back, Obris Morgan have added a Faraday cage to assist with anti-magnetism. And at 9 o'clock, we have a helium escape valve, so I think we can forgive some of those case measurements. The case itself also has integrated crown guards protecting that substantial crown. Flipping this one over, we have a fairly thick caseback with the inscription of an underwater robot and the words Obris Morgan Infinity Automatic ETA 2824 300 meter around the outer edge. If you haven't guessed it, yes, this piece has 300 meters of water resistance. Coming back around to the front, this is where I really think this piece shines. I opted for the sunburst grey dial, and I'm glad I did. In different lighting situations, the dial can go from black through to charcoal, then to true sunburst grey. On the dial itself, we see printed minute and hour markers, which have been printed using BGW9 Superluminova. And the words Obris Morgan and mechanical at 12, and then at 6, 1000 feet / 300 meters, and the word anti-magnetic. All finished off by using a standard sword-like handset. For a popper colour, I decided to go with a blue minute hand and fluoro orange seconds hand. That's definitely subjective and something I decided to add for a bit of fun. There were more subdued options for those that didn't want the colour. Topping off the dial, we have a sapphire crystal which has got an anti-reflective coating on the underside only. Again though, something hard to find in a watch at this price point. The sapphire crystal is carried over to the bezel. Yep, that's right, there's a sapphire crystal in the bezel, which is topping off again the numerals which have been printed on with the same superluminova we find on the bezel. I do however have a gripe with the bezel. It's difficult to grip and spin. There are some sharp edges that when you do manage to grip the bezel and spin it, they dig into your fingers. For functionality, it would have been good to see a coin age bezel rather than this gear styled bezel. Let's move on to the bracelet. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you'll know I harp on and on about comfort. I think a bit more taper and a more refined clasp would have elevated this piece. But that's not to take away from what Obris Morgan have produced for a bracelet. An incredibly solid 3-piece bracelet, with the removable links being held in with screws. Solid end links, a solid machined clasp which has been well finished, not to mention the ratcheting diver's extension. And for the bigger guys out there, rest assured you'll be able to get a bracelet that fits, as I had to take 6 links out of this to fit my 7-inch wrist. The bracelet does lack some refinements, but looking at it objectively, with price in mind, it's unbelievable that they have been able to deliver the watch and incredibly solid bracelet for this price. If I were to compare this bracelet to anything else on the market, I'd liken it to those strap code bracelets that a lot of us watch guys have tried out over the years. Now, if bracelets aren't your thing, Obris Morgan include a vanilla scented ISO frame style silicone strap. An absolute brilliant touch. If that wasn't enough, you get some spare premium spring bars all tucked away nicely in this tube. You also get a premium screwdriver sized perfectly to help you with resizing your bracelet. Like I said earlier in this video, this piece without a doubt is aimed at us watch nerds. All of this came delivered in a Pelican style watch case. I know, a bit of a novelty, but I'll be the first to admit I'm a sucker for a cool novelty. So, what's my overall opinion on the Obris Morgan Infinity? And I know I've gone incredibly hard on some other reviews about comfort, but for pieces that are potentially 10 to 20 times the cost of this Obris Morgan Infinity. So I'll give my opinion on the Infinity, keeping the price I paid, which was $379 US in mind. I think for what I paid and what I got, this piece is leaps and bounds above the rest. Sure, there are some minor refinements that the Infinity could have used, but if you said that those refinements would come at a cost and double the price of the watch, I'd happily accept this piece at the $379 and leave those refinements off. It's a hefty piece, and when worn on bracelet for long periods of times, it does bring on wrist fatigue. However, you've got a silicone strap option straight out of the box. If that doesn't do it for you, you can pretty much pair this up with any strap you have floating around in your top drawer and it'll work. For me personally, this piece presents incredible value that I truly haven't been able to find elsewhere since. Unfortunately, the Infinity is now a discontinued model in the Obris Morgan lineup, but they still make some amazing pieces for prices that will blow you away. I think I can easily say without a doubt that this piece is the biggest value proposition in my collection. If you stay patient, you can still find these popping up on forums or eBay for reasonable prices. And if you do, I'd say take the jump. You won't regret it. With that said, we've come to the end of another video. If you like what you've seen, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And as always, thank you and stay safe.